Okay, greetings everyone and welcome to my Sunday, the 23rd of January 22 live stream. Tonight we'll be looking at the subject of Beware the Star of Life symbol. Been looking in the live chat, a couple of people mentioned they are nurses or retired nurses, and you guys may be familiar with the symbol we're looking at tonight. If any of you know anything much about it, please share your information. I want to thank ZZ, Isa Jones, otherwise known as Kev, Mudlark, Digging Up the Thames, Maria Ellender, Susan Byrne, and Michelle from Oz. And if I've missed anyone, please accept my apologies. Maria Ellender, KJ, and KG, sorry, not KJ. Susan Byrne, hopefully I've mentioned everyone. Thanks for so far tuning in the live chat. If you have any stories you want us to look at tonight, please let me know. Nisha from Oz says this symbol, the Satanists use lots of symbols. Absolutely they do. And do they have a common source? Mudlark has helped me with a kind of not a legal term they use, which I was trying to grasp for in the pre-show. Implied right of entry. I was talking about some of the TV license people have a implied. Hang on, where is it? Implied consent. Implied right of entry, that's it, where I think it's just generally agreed that you are giving consent to TV license people to look through your window and come in and inspect your home. They don't necessarily have to tell you that you've got the right to tell them, no, you're not coming in. But that is how it can work out. And what a crafty piece of law that is. And it's it's how I wonder. I mean, we were talking about demonstrations, people still gathering in London. ZZ mentioned the march for the 100K NHS. A protest walk. Is that what you called it? I can't remember what you said now. Let's see. A freedom march, that was it. A freedom march, a protest. I see people still covering it, still going down to London on a weekly basis and demonstrating their disapproval with what's going on, and that's absolutely fair enough. Well done to them. But as Mudlark Digging Up the Thames suggested, are the people that get to host these protests the same people that are actually behind a lot of the rubbish going on? Who knows? Mudlark, I just complete an online declaration every 2 years stating that I don't watch live TV or BBC iPlayer. As far as I know, they have never knocked on my door. Good to hear it, Mudlark. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Yeah, I mean, it's a very strange idea that a company like the BBC have a right to come round and inspect your home. I wonder if half of it's just sort of propaganda, really. Just get it into your head that is a possibility. Isa Jones, otherwise known as Kev, is using a bit of French by the look of it. C'est Via Act 1666 declared everyone lost over the sea. Perhaps I'm coming in halfway through a conversation now. Right. Yeah. It seems it is, being a TV license payer. It would stick in your throat. It sticks in my throat that giving that organisation money. Oh, no thank you. Not something I fancy doing. Susan Byrne, I don't have a TV. No way. You do have a computer screen there, hey Susan, I'm guessing. Or maybe a phone screen. And you're absolutely right, there's no need to have a licence for one of them. Yeah, I mean, I'm quite fortunate in that there is a aerial on my property, but the cables, I remember I lived somewhere and the cable actually went straight from the aerial into the house. But now luckily there's some plug and there's no need for outdoor cables coming in. Right, anyway, on with tonight's subject. Mudlark, they need to pay me to watch their nonsense. You're absolutely correct, Mudlark. Although, as I say, I do follow some soap operas, although I claim it's all for research. Right, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to follow the live chat so easily. So I will just have a look now at the... we'll do a bit of research into the Star of Life symbol. And if any of you guys have any familiarities with it, please share what you know, because... right, okay, I'm going to share the screen. Where will you see this? Right, here we go. Oh, sorry, just before we start, I do want to check my audio. Hopefully it sounds alright. Any feedback is always appreciated. All seems to be working okay my end. Hope it sounds alright your end. Okay. The Star of Life symbol. If you're not familiar with the name, do a search for the Star of Life. And this is actually NHS, what the ambulances put on there, what they plaster onto an ambulance. And there are even guidelines, as you would expect, there are guidelines about how these logos should be used. So, is it the NHS who are responsible for creating this symbol? Right at the start of the pre-show, we did watch an old video of mine, The Reality of Dragon's Den. In that, we looked at, let's see, where are we? Hang on. September 2019, we looked at a guy who comes into the den, and of course he's flashing the old hand symbol. Michel Famon's mentioned in the live chat, Satanists use a lot of symbols. Do you think this is one of them? And basically, I could always play out with this video later. We'll see how it goes. Mentioned how BBC are basically, they just advertise products. This program advertised businesses and business ideas. Anyway, we then got on to Peter and this brooch that he has on him. Would you believe it has a red serpent on it? A red dragon, sorry. This thing here. Very similar to what we see here. Snake, serpent. In that video, actually, we looked at a passage from Revelations 12:1. We can have a look at that now. Oh yeah, by the way, if you've not seen it on an ambulance, trust me, they will be on there. You can see the serpent crawling up something. There it is, just there. That's Ambulance of Yorkshire service, but to be honest, they use it all over the country. If not that, then a variation of it. Yeah, let's see what you get then when you search for the Star of Life. It is a well-known symbol, which is a cross plus a spike with a serpent or snake crawling up it. And it seems to be used on every single ambulance. The Star of Life represents emergency medical services such as ambulances. The Star of Life is a blue six-pointed star outlined with a white border and usually featuring the rod of Asclepius. The rod of Asclepius in the centre. It is now a recognised symbol of emergency services in multiple countries. What is the rod of Asclepius? Do you think it killed anyone? I mean, I honestly don't know what it is. So we're gonna... This is not quite what we wanted. Hang on. In Greek mythology, there we go, Greek mythology, although would you be too surprised to hear Greek mythology may go further? If anyone's got any better links about this than Wikipedia, always appreciate it, but you can look at all the countries it is used in: Asia, South Pacific, Canada, Europe, Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa, the United States, worldwide, yeah. Variation, confusion with the caduceus. Not sure what the caduceus is. It is a serpent entwined with a rod wielded by the Greek god Asclepius, a deity associated with healing and medicine. Theories have been proposed about the Greek origin of the symbol and its implications. In modern implications, it's a false god. That is exactly what it is. Something I personally try and keep away from. In modern times, it's predominant. It is the predominant symbol for medicine and healthcare. Although, because of a misunderstanding, the caduceus, the symbol of commerce, is sometimes seen in this context. Commerce. It's more or less identical. It's based on another god. Same sort of thing. Oh, a Greek god, Hermes. Hermes Ingenui. And there he is carrying his staff. I'm sure I've seen this somewhere else, this symbol. It looks very familiar to me. Where have I seen it? Let's have a look. Let's, yeah, we could have a look at Revelation 12:1 as well, just to see what it says about these serpents. Revelation 12:1. I mean, we've got it right there. I could have just read it out of that, but the woman and the dragon. We are very zoomed in. Oh, welcome to the Bible passage. It's now gone to adverts. Right, maybe a chance to catch up with the live chat. Unfortunately, I'm not able to keep up with it too well at the moment. So I'm just having a look at it now. Let's see. Isa Jones says legal person is not a real person. Okay. A legal person. Yeah. Apparently in the law, entities get a lot of coverage. Right, is this working yet? Yeah. We can get back to the passage now. Hopefully we can see the... Okay, 12:1. A great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet and the crown of 12 stars on her head. She was pregnant and cried out in pain as she was about to give birth. Then another sign appeared in heaven, an enormous red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns on its heads. Its tail swept a third of the stars out of the sky and flung them to earth. The dragon stood in front of the woman who was about to give birth so that it might devour her child at the moment he was born. She gave birth to a son, a male child, who will rule all the nations with an iron scepter. The scepter being very common. Is that a scepter? And is that their way of saying Satan dominates the scepter? Our serpent is ruling the scepter. And a child was snatched up to God and to his throne. The woman fled into the wilderness to a place prepared for her by God, where she might take care for 1,260 days. Right, with that in mind, where else do we see this idea of a staff with serpents crawling up around it? We'll have a look in 1 minute. I just want to catch up with the live chat actually. ZZ, I see you're talking about you've had a letter to say you'll be dismissed. Wow, that's insane. I'm guessing this is because you're, like you said, you're marching for 100,000 NHS staff that don't want, you know what. I know someone. I mean, I've been in a similar situation, but not due to this. I do know someone who is in the same situation with. They've had probably letters, I'm not sure, but it's been hanging over them for a long time. Right, I'm not going to jump off from one subject to another, but I did just want to catch up on the live chat before we go back to the scepter with serpents. ZZ, that's disgusting. If you're after 20 years loyal service, you're being told if you don't use it, then you're out the door. But as Isa Jones points out, Kev, mandate, not law, unfair dismissal. Yeah, there is a whole heap of laws that do protect members of staff, employees from the situation you may find yourself in. You're hoping it'll be scrapped. 4 nurses just for my ward are going. We already have 8 nurse vacancies. ZZ, are they leaving of their own free will? That is the worst thing they can do. Just give in and say, okay, I'm going to give up then. I think they should stick it out and continue being there, continue being a person in the workplace that hasn't had the poison. Because at some point or another, they will have to come for us. It will be a requirement that people that don't go there will, I saw perhaps we'll touch on it after we finish. After we finish on the subject of the snake and scepter, I'll share a link to a really interesting video someone sent me. Isa Jones gives some interesting stuff about the definition of law definitions and the law of contract. Thank you for sharing the information, much appreciated. Okay, Maria says apparently the Star of Life symbol was created by Leo Schwartz and patented in 1977. Good to know, because something about that will come up actually, going back to the the ambulances. Jossie White, greetings. Good to see you in the live chat. Thanks for joining us. It's the serpent, snake. How much different are they? Isa Jones, BBC 223322. Yes, I've come across that one before. Yeah, just the way these people, the people that like to put snakes everywhere you go, they talk in numbers, they talk in symbols and signs, and 322 is 100% one of them, and 322 in reverse, which is BBC. Yeah, too right. That is a nod to their lodge brothers. Yeah, this is just another one of us. Michel from Oz, they use vans to triangulate the signal, or they did here in the 60s. Is that signal for TVs or detectors? Because, yeah, we always had this, I think I always thought it was a myth that there was a TV detector van going around detecting who was watching TV. Not possible by all accounts. Okay, let's see. Isa Jones, they tell us stories and we believe. Absolutely, that is all this mainstream media is. If they keep threatening people, yeah, I think the threat is enough for a lot of people. As you said, a load of people have walked out or already left. I'm not sure if that was. Are you saying they were dismissed because they haven't gone along, or did they leave of their own accord? No, I say make them dismiss you, because that's the first thing they'll do. Dismiss you pending probably 6 months, but who knows? It might not even go there. They keep delaying it. They keep cancelling it. I don't think it'll come in myself. I see Michelle from Oz has shared a link. Scroll down for the serpent. We will have a look at that in one sec. Maria Ellender, the original Hippocratic Oath sounds like a homage to false gods. Yes, I do believe it's a bit. Well, perhaps we can have a look at it. Michel from Oz, the Baphomet uses the serpents too. That is exactly what I was thinking when I said, where else have I seen? It is his genitalia, I believe. It symbolises. Yeah, what a vile thing. I don't want to look too close. I don't want this thing on my screen. I'm not saying it's got any power. I don't believe it has. It's a deity. It's a false god. It's worthless. It's meaningless. Has no power. But people give it power, unfortunately, much to their own. Right, let's do it. Much to their own. Oh, sorry. Yeah, much to their own damage, unfortunately. People do give these things their power. Crazy thing, whatever it is. I mean, yeah, it is by all accounts also linked to transgenderism, as it has both. Well, it has female breasts and the scepter. I mean, what an insult to the. If it's a reference to the biblical passage, what an insult to put. Where they put it, vile. Right. I don't want to look at that thing too closely, but yeah, there it is again. Exactly the same thing you see on these ambulances. Maria Ellender mentioned it being patented by. Do you say someone in America? There it is. Finally, this has come up now. Right, how closely does it match what we see on ambulances? Right. Where was the... Yeah, this is what the logo is based on. It's just a single star, but as they said, people mix it up with the... Oh, where was it? We will have a look at your link in a minute, Michelle. just thought I had one on my own. I must have moved it. It was the Wikipedia post. What happened to that? Who knows? Yeah, we'll have a look at the link. Michelle sent us 11 satanic symbols that are weirdly inspirational. My goodness, what? Thoughtcatalog.com. None of these symbols are inspirational. For a long time, many people have been afraid of Satanists. In the Middle Ages, men and women who practiced Christianity believed that the Knights Templar and the Cathars were performing satanic rituals. In the early modern period, there were satanic conspiracies about witches in Europe and North American colonies. Despite false claims about Satanists throughout history, the Satanic Temple does not believe in the supernatural Satan. That is absolute nonsense. Absolute rubbish. The founder of this church, if it's the same one, I'm guessing it is, the Satanic Temple, Anton LaVey and Aleister Crowley, I'm not sure their links, but world famous Satanists, honestly, especially Aleister Crowley. And he claims to have raised a spirit or some sort of fallen angel. But according to Thought Catalog, not all satanic symbols are about hell and the devil. That is because Satanism isn't about sacrificing animals and causing bloodshed. What nonsense is this? Satanism is a religion that is more about self-identity. They believe God is a creation of man, not an actual being. Since you're probably doubtful, so basically atheists. That's what they're saying. Basically, the Satanists are atheists. Couldn't have put it better myself. Very well spotted. Since you are probably doubtful about a group that has been given such a poor reputation, this is a list of occult symbols and their meanings. They can inspire you to take control of your own destiny. Basically, use them. The Order of the Nine Angels. This is... Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is the head of the Baphomet, I believe. This is the official insignia of the Church of Satan. Say no more. If you're saying the Church of Satan no longer do not believe the Satan is physical, then you are seriously deluded. It contains an inverted pentagram with a goat's head at the centre, and the Hebrew letters at each point of the pentagram spell out Leviathan, which is a deadly sea monster. Yeah, Leviathan is a creation of God mentioned in the book of Job. Actually, yeah, I do like the passage where they mention the Leviathan. Let's see if we can... I know it's around 38, chapter 38 of Job. I'm not spelling that correctly, I don't think. Job 41. Yeah, again, if you're not familiar with the book of Job, it's a really, beautiful story. Well, it's a terrible story in a way, but the presentation and the outcome is beautiful. And they talk about, can you pull in Leviathan with a fish hook or tie down its tongue with a rope? Again, this is a serpent, a great sea monster. Can you put a cord through its nose or pierce its jaw with a hook? Will it keep begging you for mercy? Will it speak with you in gentle words? This is basically saying all the things that the Leviathan will not do. Can you make a pet of it like a bird? Or put it on a leash for the young women in your house? Will traders barter for it while they divide it up among the merchants? Can you fill its hide with harpoons or its head with fishing spears? If you lay a hand on it, you will remember the struggle and never do it again. No one is fierce enough. Right, if you lay a hand on it, we remember to struggle and never do it again. Any hope of subduing it is false. The Leviathan cannot be subdued. No one is fierce enough to rouse it. Who then is able to stand against me? Who has a claim against me? I must pay. This is the Most High Yahweh talking to Job after he practiced he shared. Hang on. He distorted counsel with false words. I can't. Right. Who is it that obscures counsel with false words? I believe that's the phrase that God is questioned, and he then challenges Job to face him and answer his questions. And this is for me a beautiful scripture. I just love the way the Most High, I will not fail to speak of Leviathan's limbs, its strength and its graceful form, who can strip it of its outer coat and who can penetrate its double coat of armour, who dares open the doors of its mouth, ringed about with fearsome teeth. Its back has rows of shields tightly sealed together. Yeah, just love the way the Most High is not ashamed, wouldn't dream of not mentioning the Leviathan. His creation, of course. But apparently the Satanists are now using it. Yeah, I don't think there's any way the inverted cross is good. But thank you, Michelle, for sharing that symbol. How do they put some propagandic spin on it? Represents the death of Christ, so turning it upside down is meant to disrespect him. Images like this represent the choice to rebel instead of submitting and obeying God. Of course you would. Get down and worship this weird thing. And it does come out in people. You do see people that want to be both male and female. And you see many people with pentagrams on their head. Right, we were going back to ambulances. Maria Ellender mentioned the... who patented it? Let me go back to that a minute. Maria Ellender, the same symbol is on the flag of the World Health Organization. Interesting. Yeah, I can't remember who said originally created the symbol. Leo Schwartz, and it was patented in 1977, according to the NHS. Can we use the Star of Life symbol? Hopefully you can read it okay. I'll move it along, get it more central, hopefully. The Star of Life symbol was used in some countries as a symbol donating ambulances, paramedics and other medical emergency medical services. Copyright in the symbol is believed to belong to the United States government, which seems happy to allow such use. However, NHS England has been unable to establish this position with certainty. So, if NHS organisations choose to use this symbol, they do so at their own risk. Basically, they don't even have any right to... They don't have a legal right to use this symbol. Neither do any of the organisations in... but yeah, across the world. Maria mentioned the star... Maria Ellender, look at the original Hippocratic Oath. I swear by Apollo the healer and by Asclepius, Hygeia and Panacea and all the gods. Wow. So they've now changed the Hippocratic Oath, have they? Yeah, we'll have to look that up perhaps tonight. Maria, Apollo is regarded as a god in Roman and Greek mythology. Yeah, of course. These same names and same people are mentioned in all the in all the different times. Phil, greetings. Phil Wright, greetings. Good to see you in the live chat. Thanks for joining us. Kev Isa Jones says Jesus met Apollo in Greece during his wandering years. They used the oracle until Jesus turned up. The oracle said at Apollo that she was no longer able to see and that Jesus was the way. Okay. KG, some believe the Antichrist can only enter a Baphomet body. Many in Hollywood and government. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The symbol goes everywhere. Yeah, I thought it interesting that. So the NHS do not confirm who owns the right to use that symbol, and they actually even tell people how to line up where to line up all these. There's quite strict rules around where they can put these logos, I believe. Or maybe not rules. Well, yeah, rules, not laws. I mean, yes, it's an odd one. I mean, it's got the same 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pointed star that you see in. Where are we? 1, 2. Okay, 6 point. They've added an extra point to the star, but it is basically the same symbol. Right, I'm going to look up the name that Maria gave us just to see if they are the ones responsible. Mudlark, it goes back to ancient Greece. Is that the Hippocratic Oath that goes back to ancient Greece? Right, Leo Schwartz, Star of Life. Maybe Leo Schwartz was trying to patent something that is actually no one's particularly sure of its real ownership. The Star of Life, HMP, designed by Leo R. Schwartz. Okay, so yeah, this as a symbol is designed by Leo R. Schwartz. Obviously, he didn't come up with the serpent going round a scepter. That is something he took. I wonder what sort of person Leo R. Schwartz was. He was the chief of an EMS branch. NAEMT uses it in its logo. You wear it as an EMS practitioner and it designates your ambulance as an emergency vehicle. But what is the Star of Life and how did it come to be such a strong and recognisable symbol for emergency medical services? Yeah, seriously, it is across the world, this symbol. As you know, the Star of Life is a blue 6-pointed star in the centre. It features a widely used symbol of medical care, a snake-entwined staff known as the Rod of Asclepius. This is a name for a figure in Greek mythology. They love their Greek mythology, don't they? Asclepius, the god of medicine and healing. So, if you were a strict believer in the Bible, for example, in the Word of God, in the Ten Commandments, would you stay away from something that had the symbol of a deity, of a Greek god? The 6 branches of the star symbolize the 6 main tasks executed by emergency medical services, rescuers all through the emergency chain. After this, we will look at the original Hippocratic Oath. The first rescuers on the scene, usually civilian or those involved in the incident, observe the scene, understand the problem, identify dangers to themselves Okay, then they call for help. Response: the first rescuers provide first aid. Not when I hurt myself. The only time I've ever had to go in an ambulance, and I'm fortunate about this, I was about 15 years old, 14 maybe, 15, and I was at a point where my arms are growing faster than I realised, and I remember reaching out into my cupboard and my finger scraped down the side of the wall and a chunk of wood just went straight under a fingernail. It was torture. But despite my mum trying to encourage me to get it looked at, I refused anyone looking at it. For about 3 days, it was awful. You know, right under my ring finger on my right hand, right under the nail. I can still remember that horrible pain now. Anyway, a few days later, as a kid messing around with my bike, trying to straighten the seat up or something, and crunch, I squashed it under the handle, under the seat, and nearly passed out. Everything went black, and that's the nearest again I've ever come to passing out. One of the, maybe once other, never properly passed out, fortunately, thank God. But that was one of the nearest times I ever came, and my mum just phoned an ambulance, and they came round, looked at it. I mean, I shook it off after a little bit, but they did convince me to go up to the hospital, and they took it out. Probably for the best, yeah. Can't argue with that one. I mean, as a 15-year-old, I did, but although I did have to wait in some reception for hours on end. But probably just as well it came out from under my finger. Right, I will have a look at the live chat. Oh, I was going to say we're going to have a look at the Hippocratic Oath. Right, I'm trying to keep up with the chat. Random Games, greetings, thanks for joining us. Good to see you in the live chat. If there's anyone I've not mentioned who's popped in the live chat so far, please forgive me. I know we've seen Phil Wright and Jossie White. I hope you're both still tuned in. Right, Michelle from... Oh, Maria Ellender says she's reading an excellent book, Satan, Prince of This World. Yeah, he's definitely in charge down here. No doubt about that. Mudlock Gots are sweet and cute, KG. I wouldn't disagree with that. Isa Jones says, on Google Earth there's a dragon across the top of Africa and it's chasing a leviathan. Both can be seen clearly. Interesting, Isa Jones. I don't know if you're able to send links, but I would like to make you a mod. So if you've got any links to share, please do. KG, you also, my friend, you've been following this channel for a long time, and are regular contributors to the live chat. Right, the Hippocratic Oath. Hang on, let me check I haven't missed anything. Random Games, I hope things are going well for you in your neck of the woods. Thanks, as always, for joining us on the live chat. I hope things are going well for everyone in all their necks of the woods, wherever you may find yourself. Right, the Hippocratic Oath. For me, it reminds me of... Oh, that's not necessarily the one I wanted to go for, but... hypocrites, you know? Hypocritic. Cool. Hypocrisy, my goodness. Is the practice of engaging in the same behaviour or activity for which one criticises another, or the practice of claiming to have more moral standards or beliefs to which one's own behaviour does not conform. In moral psychology, it is the failure to follow one's own expressed moral rules or principles. Okay, Hippocrates. So do you think this guy was like the first ever hypocrite? That's where he got his name. An oath of ethics, historically taken by physicians. Again, you guys probably have got better links to, to more accurate information than Crapopedia. I can't knock Wikipedia. I do go on it fairly regularly, but I know, they're the official narrative and nothing more. The original, right? Sorry, it's supposed to be. Of course, you guys are right. Okay, the oath is the early expression of medical ethics in the Western world, establishing several principles of medical ethics which remain of paramount significance today. Apparently, when the first surgeons in Britain, I'm not sure if you guys, I expect you know this. Well, if you look at the Barber symbol, Barber logo, they have this, and apparently this is a reference to the rags that you, bloody rags and clean rags. It's to do with, apparently, if they cut hair, I guess they were considered the nearest people qualified to cut your flesh open or cut out wounds or who knows what. Do you know another thing I have noticed? I've seen this a couple of times with barbers. We're not going to go too off the subject, but barber sign, upside down barbershop signs. Right, hang on, let me write that one again. Upside down barbershop sign. Yeah, I saw there's one local to me, and I don't know why they do this, but it's really common. It's ridiculous. But any time I've ever seen one, they don't actually give a real reason for why they do it. But for some reason, it's the thing with barbers. They put their logos upside down. Is that weird or what? If anyone knows the reason for that. Why is the barbershop put... Right, this is the Liverpool Echo. I mean, do you think there's some... Do you think it's a... Right. Look, John Lee made the bizarre decision to fit his shop sign upside down in an unusual marketing ploy. No, it is not unusual. It is everywhere, honestly. It's not unusual. This guy is not the first person to come up with doing an upside down barbershop sign. Let's see if they give us any reasons. John Lee, 43, has run the barbershop for 13 years. They love their numbers. But when it came to getting a new sign installed on his shop, he had a last-minute strike of inspiration. The Bootle barber asked the sign fitter to place his new frontage upside down, thinking it would make it stand out from other businesses on the street. Maybe on the street, but not as a barbershop, because they all do it. Speaking to the Echo about the bizarre decision, it's really not a bizarre decision. John said there were other places on the block had spent a fortune on signs. They've gone all glam. I was like, what should I do without spending too much money to stand out and do something different? I said to the sign guy, how about we put it upside down? He said, I can't do that. That's blasphemy. Weird. He'd never done that. I thought, you know what? This is what I need to do. No one else has ever done it before. Bull spit. Someone else has done it before this guy. I know it. The unusual market employee has certainly been turning heads on the Litherland Road, especially as the Echo just publicised this guy's barbershop. And you've just told us the address. With people stopping to take pictures and ask what inspired the decision. John said straight away. People said, "What are you doing? It's upside down." People with OCD have been coming in saying they want to fix it. They've The reaction I've got is amazing. It's been up for about 2 weeks, blah, blah. Despite the bizarre motivation, what motivation? He hasn't said what it was. He said he just wanted to be a bit different, which only set him back £90. John said the reaction has been entirely positive. Yeah, weird. Sorry to go off the subject. It's just barbers. I mean, yeah, apparently they used to do all the medical procedures. Right, the Hippocratic Oath. Do they... Earliest surviving copy. Unfortunately, not easy to read. Okay, here is a translation. Yeah, was it Maria who first told us to have a look at this, or translated it? So basically, any Hippocratic Oath that's come since is no better, right? I'm not going to say these words because I absolutely do not. By Apollo, healer, and by, I mean, oaths, for example. Oh, right. And by all the gods and goddesses, making them my witness. Just imagine this. You were a believer in the Most High. You wanted to become a doctor. You did all your training, studied for however many years. Really thought you'd be helping people. And before you can, basically got yourself in massive debt to learn how to be a doctor, unless you're fortunate enough to be able to fund it yourself, or your parents fund it. And the first thing you're asked to do is to swear by Apollo. What do you do? Hang on, no, I'm not doing this. Does that... I mean, okay, perhaps they've changed it or updated it, I don't know, but what a bizarre thing to request of people. To hold my teacher in this art equal to my own parents. Right, let's just see. I'll carry out according to my ability. The moment someone swears by Apollo, I no longer trust them with whatever they're going to say. So the rest of this oath is kind of horrible, irrelevant to me. To hold my teacher in this art equal to my own parents, to make him partner in my livelihood. So the person who's teaching you is going to, when he is in need of money, to share mine with him, to consider his family as my own brothers, and to teach them this art if they want to learn without fee or indenture. Okay. The people who are passing on this knowledge are certainly making sure they get looked after. Right, I will use those dietary regimens which will benefit my patient according to my greatest ability and judgment, and I will, let's see if this is really true. I will do no harm or injustice to them. Do you know, I've known a few people that have been on quite serious psychiatric medication, and when they're on it, okay, fair enough, maybe it helps calm them down, maybe it keeps them level, maybe it stops them acting out and feels better, maybe it makes them feel better. However, in case you can hear me rattling something around, it is a packet of Tic Tacs to keep my mouth, I'm not boshing a load of pills, I promise you that. It is lime and orange Tic Tacs. Sorry, well, that got me off course. Oh, neither will I administer... Oh yeah, sorry, people on serious psychiatric medication, and when they're on it, okay, that's one thing, but when they try and come off it, that is when they are seriously screwed. These people, it will ruin them, basically. It ruins their life. It has ruined their life. To say... yeah, to say you won't do any people in harm or injustice. Not my experience. I mean, the people that are just literally writing prescriptions, are they responsible? Well, yeah, of course they are. And are these people that, after they've been told to make this ridiculous pledge, then if you're prepared to do this, then you'll do anything, basically. If you're prepared to make this, if this means nothing to you, that yeah, you'll just go in and you'll swear by Apollo, and that way you can start earning 100 grand and start paying back your crippling student debt. You will do anything. And when people come and say, hey, I got some money here, why don't you, if you prescribe our product, we'll make sure you know that, I don't know, you might find that a nice new car ends up in your driveway, or who knows what. Or basically we'll give you a kickback on every prescription you write with this name on it, with this product on it. So, and look at, yes, I see this is an interesting line. Neither will I administer a poison to any body when asked to do so. So that's euthanasia out the window. Nor will I suggest such a course. Similarly, I will not give a woman a pessary to cause abortion. But I will keep pure and holy both my life and my art. I will not use the knife, not even verily on sufferers from stone, but I'll give place to such as are craftsmen therein. Into whatever house I enter, I will enter to help the sick, and I will abstain from all intentional wrongdoing and harm, especially from abusing the bodies of man or woman, bond or free. If you really have to make a pledge to do this, hey ho. That should come naturally. That's what I mean. Who enters into people's houses to do them harm, especially the sick? All wrongdoing and harm. Right. It's a sad world. It really is. When the people that take part in these sort of things are swearing oaths to Apollo, are driving around with basically the Baphomet's genitals on the side of their van, because that is what this thing is representing. The serpent, then I don't want to trust it, to be honest with you. I have no interest in being a part of that organisation. So, the Bible's also very strict on blood. I either meant to mention this earlier, or I was going to, but didn't. In the last live stream, I was going to mention about the Bible and how much it tells you not, to abstain from blood. And of course, one of the big businesses, I can't even look at it. Sorry, I cannot look at it. This stuff starts making me ill. Right, I just want to look at the live chat. I see David's in here in the live chat. Greetings, thanks for joining us. Always good to see you in the live chat, my friend. As it is to see all of you guys. Maria Ellender, it's a satanic oath. Of course it is. The minute you mention Apollo, Apollyon, then, yeah, let's look up the word Apollo. Apollyon as well is another let's just see. Maybe it's Apollyon. I know it comes up in Revelations. Is it Apollyon or something? Maybe. Perhaps, right, what other one? Yeah, I'm sure the Book of Revelations names. I've not actually. Yeah, I'm reading through the Bible now, and I'm on Ecclesiastes, so I've not read the what they now call New Testament for a long time, but it will be coming up after I finished the original Hebrew text. So yeah, I look forward to finding out more about Revelations again. Reading it, it will be the first time I've read through it with a properly open eyes. Yes. Okay, Apollyon, I'm sure. Right, I'll have a look at the live chat. Mudlark, I thought they sounded like Tic Tacs and have been just in Fisherman's Friends and multicoloured polos. Yeah, very good for keeping your mouth dry. Maria Ellender, the oath sounds very Masonic, doesn't it? You're absolutely correct. Michelle from Oz says doctors are busy harming and mutilating children now, even though the first thing is do no harm. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, when you say mutilating children, I'm... yeah. Susan Burns says the NHS is a big business now. It's not for people. They're heavily involved in organ selling and much more. Money, money, money. Did we talk about this last week? Apparently they changed the law. So now by default, unless you specifically say you're not having my organs, they will take them, I think, by all accounts. It's, yeah, it is satanic. And same with blood, really, isn't it? David, yesterday was awesome in London. I hope it woke a few more people up. David, did you attend it? Well done if you did, you know. It's not something I have done. I've never done any of these demonstrations, but well done going down there and walking for what you believe. Right, Mudlark. That's why everyone has to opt out of donations. Yeah, of course it is. Right, okay. We've been going for an hour now. I know. If anyone has any subjects they would like us to look at, right? Have we learnt a bit about the Star of David? We will do a recap. So it was it originally designed by the Leo Schwartz, designed by Leo R. Schwartz, chief of the EMS branch. The Star of Life was adapted from the medical identification symbol of the American Medical Association. What do you think that one looks like? Also, was it the UN as well, I believe? The newly designed Star of Life was trademarked on February the 1st, 1977. They must make an absolute killing then, because... Right, yeah, because everyone uses it by all accounts. Yeah, of course, the American Medical Association. Wow, and there's the UN, of course. Is that the Baphomet's phallic symbol? Phallic member, I believe it is. What an insult to the Book of Revelation. What an absolute insult. Maria Ellender says, a Greek family have just moved into my apartment block. He told me that the whole family, including their 4-year-old, were all stuck, as in pricked. He was recruited as a doctor to our local hospital. Yeah, poor. I mean, let's hope they're all going to be okay, and let's hope it's not going to affect them in a serious way. How many people... Right, has anyone else noticed a increase in the amount of people you now see walking around with a crutch or with a knee bandaged up or joints, basically. I mean, perhaps people have always had really bad joints, but I've been hearing of and seeing people with complaining of problems with their joints. And I've got to be honest, I wonder if that's a link. Who knows? Hopefully not. David, I would do anything for love, but I won't take that. Good point. Mudlark, of course. We could have a look at Mudlark. There was one little thing that... sorry, not Mudlark. Meatloaf, what am I about? Yeah, we could have a look at Meatloaf. I will need to take a 5-minute interval. And then when we come back, we could look at Meatloaf. I'm not sure if you were with me at the very start of the pre-show where we watched what did we watch? Yeah, a video of mine from 2018 about... Yeah, it kind of looked at... It was actually the one we mentioned about Dragon's Den. I mean, what a typical name, Dragon's Den. So it's no surprise that Peter Jones, the star of the show... Basically, this will come up in the video we'll watch while we have a quick interval. Peter Jones logo or crest or something. What do you think's in it? A dragon by any chance? Of course it is. This is the Peter Jones coat of arms. Red dragon, what a surprise. 7 heads, 12 horns, no, 12 crowns, something like that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there are 7 of these spikes, whether that's a reference to the 12 heads or... yeah, we'll have a look at it. Okay, and when we come back then, we will look at Meatloaf and something else that happened on that day. I'll tell you how I know this, because of the wonderful YouTuber Brian Staverly. But anyway, we'll look at that when we come back, okay? So yeah, as I say, I'm going to take a quick 5-minute. I hope that's alright with everyone. Do you know what? I haven't had my little thing that runs across the bottom of the screen going all day. Gives me a quick chance to look at the live chat as well. Susan Mudlark, don't go to hospital if you're pure. They want your organs and put you on a ventilator. Yeah, do you know what? As I said, when I was 14, 15, I went in an ambulance, had to go to hospital and have a shard of wood removed from under my fingernail. And I was grateful for it, okay, because who knows what would have happened to my finger had it got any worse. So sometimes, hey, who knows? Yeah, sometimes when things are bad, maybe you do need... you know, let's hope none of us are ever in a situation where we need an ambulance. Let's just agree to that, yeah? I'm not saying I wouldn't call an ambulance if I had just had my arm chopped off or something, who knows? Or I wouldn't be relieved to see someone coming to me with bandages and offering to stop the bleeding or whatever. But let's hope I never have to go in an ambulance again in my life, because I don't want to enter a premises or anything that has any involvement with that kind of thing. Okay, when we come back, we will look at something interesting that happened on the same day as Mudlark. Sorry, keep saying Mudlark. Meatloaf passed. And yeah, okay, so in the meantime, I'll be back 5 minutes as you guys can watch this video from, when was it? Not March 2018, it was... sorry guys, bear with. I'm just going to set this up. September 2019, that does sound about right. Okay guys, yeah, 5 minutes and we will be back. Let me just see actually how long this video does go on for. 5 minutes 29 seconds, okay? I'll be back after that. Hey everyone, now this is a video about the BBC programme Dragon's Den. Now what do the top brass at the BBC and TV producers do when they're down at the lodge and one of their lodge brothers comes up to them and says, look mate, can you give my product some exposure on TV? Well, they chuck them on programmes like this, Dragon's Den. It used to be said that Top of the Pops, another BBC programme, that after a musical act went on that, they could pretty much guarantee sales of their record increased 5-fold. I would have thought it's pretty much the same on Dragon's Den. Now this clip here is a good example of how it works. Interestingly enough, this guy is called John Bull, who's pitching for an investment. Now, strange coincidence, John Bull was a character that's been around since something like the 17th, 18th century, and he was used in all sorts of propaganda to get people to join up to the military in a similar way to Uncle Sam was in America. And this guy just happens to be a former member of the Merchant Navy called John Bull. Now, just to make sure that everyone in the know knows that he's one of them, let's have a look at how he introduced himself.
Presentation I find difficult,
but the prospect of
there we go. He's letting everyone know. Perhaps that's just a coincidence. Let's have a look.
facing the dragons has left him feeling all at sea.
I have met challenges like this before, but walking into the den is something that is terror.
And here he comes, enters the den, flashing that hand symbol.
Hello dragons, my name's...
Now, is that just a coincidence? Well, there is plenty of examples of people doing that same gesture, as it were. It pretty much lets fellow Masons know, hey guys, I'm one of you. And now in this episode of Dragon's Den, this guy gets his opportunity to promote his product. Here we see, whilst one of the dragons tells him that he's not investing, let's just see how this John Bull reacts.
Well, you're looking for an investment.
Yeah?
I'm not going to invest today. I'm out.
Okay. Thank you, Tuka.
There's that knowing smile that, hey, yeah, we knew you weren't going to invest in this. You've given me all the help I need just by letting me get on this show. Now, I've done previous videos of how the BBC will promote products, and I think this is another example of it. One of the people that appears in Dragon's Den, this guy, Peter Jones, you'll see he's wearing this sort of brooch kind of thing. Now he explains the meaning of the brooch. It is his family's coat of arms that he designed. Here we see a red dragon carrying a lightning bolt, followed by some large feline animals. Of course, if we look into the Bible, the book of Revelations, chapter 12, verse 3, another sign appeared in heaven, an enormous red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns. And of course, Peter Jones includes a red dragon in his coat of arms. He tells you in this little write-up that he was asked to design it himself. In early 2006, I was asked to design my own arms, so this is Peter's very own coat of arms. And of course, the lightning bolt comes down, another biblical reference to the book of Luke, chapter 10, verse 18. And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as a lightning falling from heaven. But of course, Peter will explain it away as in the right hand of the dragon is a bolt of lightning. While lightning can be destructive, in this instance it represents a positive power, the spark of an idea with real force behind it. Now, real force being his Masonic friends. Okay, I'd be interested for any of your opinions or comments on this video about Dragon's Den. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Okay, that is the play-in video, and it's about to start up again. As I said, I was curious to look at the story about Meatloaf. What happens when these big celebrities pass on? Are they legit? I mentioned before the interval that the wonderful YouTuber Brian Staveley had made a couple of videos about Meatloaf. Before we look at that, I will have a quick look at the live chat though, and try and catch up a bit. So, apologies, I'm not able to follow the live chat like I used to. Yeah, I've had to make some sacrifices, and well, not so much, but I'm not able to run the two things going at the same time, unfortunately, at the moment. Right. Yeah, let me catch up with the live chat. Yeah, thanks to everyone who's tuned in tonight and shared their thoughts. Much appreciated. Right. Susan Byrne, good old Meatloaf, rest in peace. You're a fan, fair enough. Right. I see Mudlark's. I was talking about people with joint pains. Mudlark says that legs and backs have started to hurt recently, despite the fact you are unspiked, which is, yeah, fair enough. Of course, people have joint pains all the time. I've just noticed, like, lately, a lot of people have been having problems. Not a lot of people, but more people than maybe I would have noticed in the last couple of years, anyway. Right, Mudlight says, oh no, so Maria Ellender, Hazel O'Connor was recently put in an induced coma. She posted a video of her wanting to get boosted. Ooh, okay, I'm not familiar with Hazel O'Connor either. Neither is Mudlight Digging Up the Thames. She was an 80s punk singer. Why did she get put in an induced coma? We could look at that story. Mudlark, thanks for the information. Punk rockers are supposed to be anti-establishment. Not anymore. JT33, our very own, I don't think I'd call you a punk rocker, but musician. And I'm sure there's more of you guys that probably put out some good tunes. I know Johnny Roadster sometimes tunes in. If you're with us tonight, thanks for joining, Johnny. Also, JT33, good to see you in the live chat. Thanks for turning up. Hope things are good with you. And if you've got any new videos you want us to watch at any point, I have played out and into your tunes in the past. So yeah, I could start the show with it next week. Let's see, Mudlark says the media uses the same psychological tactics they did during World Wars, calling unpoked people cowards and idiots. Yeah, of course they do. Psychological tactics is exactly what they use. John Bull printing set. Okay, yep, John Bull. Again, yeah, basically the UK's answer to Uncle Sam. Mudlark, he could be using the Red Dragon because he is Welsh, but must be Welsh with the surname Jones. I believe he might have some link to Wales. Yeah, probably. Yeah, but even the Red Dragon being in the flag of Wales, is it possibly a link to the Red Dragon, the Leviathan. Susan, you liked his music. Fair enough, yeah. There's plenty of musicians who I've been fans of their tunes. Mudlark, sorry, I could call him Mudlark. Meatloaf wasn't, I didn't dislike any of the music I heard from Meatloaf, but he wasn't someone I was hugely affected by his music. But if you were, fair enough. Of course, it's going to be sad, although I was talking about that nicely brought us back to the subject. Thanks, Susan. I will share my screen and I'll show you, Brian Staveley. Let's see if we can find his YouTube channel. Brian S. Staveley, I should say. Right, I need to close. Oh, right, we never properly, fully read the Hippocratic Oath, only to say that it is pretty dark. But yeah, thank you for sharing that information with us, Maria. Well, for pointing out the Hippocratic Oath. I'm sure someone else would have. But this guy, I'm going to put a link to his channel. I once showed a clip of me I phoned in on one of this guy's live streams. He does them on Twitch a lot. But one of the easiest places to find him is Twitter. Is YouTube. And you can find links. Brian S. Staveley. He looks a lot at Mandela effects. And yeah, he makes some pretty convincing points, I gotta say. He knows what he's talking about, that's for sure. He also mentioned this person, Louis Anderson, dead again. And it kind of made me think, just how much do Meatloaf and Louis Anderson, someone I'm not that familiar with, but how alike do these people look? Is it a coincidence that they both died on the same day? So I thought we would have a quick look at the pair, just to see what they share in age, what they share. Do you know what I mean? Can you see? It looks very effeminate, but can you see a Meatloaf behind? They're obviously not his real teeth. Yeah, actually, one of the things that turned up in Brian Staveley's videos, he was pointing out Meatloaf. Has it always been two separate words, meat and loaf? He says that's a Mandela effect. Right, do we see it? Louis Anderson and Meatloaf. Do you know what I'm saying? This guy, I would say, look at that previous picture. If that isn't a face full of plasticine, I don't know what is. And if it isn't a woman underneath that plasticine, I don't know what is. Not real hair, not for a second, not real teeth. Of course, seems to like doing these poses. There, that's very Meatloaf-esque, if you see what I mean. Just the same sort of shaped face and shaped body. Obviously, they pad out the other guy, Louis Anderson. But do we see a crossover? And I don't know if that's him, but I don't know which one that is. Marvin Lee Addy or something he's called. Right, let's see what else they share other than, do you guys think they share and do they look similar? They do as far as I'm concerned. Although, if this is the same guy to this, they look nothing alike. Right, I'm curious that, people were saying that they apparently already heard this guy had passed on once before. He was born in 1953. What about Marvin? 1947. So 6 years difference. Height, 6 foot exactly. I bet they lie about, well, they do lie about these people's heights all the time. And what is wrong with Meatloaf in that picture? Maybe it's just the way they've cut his head out, but looks like the plasticine's starting to come loose, if you get my drift. I'm not saying this guy wasn't an incredibly talented musician. 5'7". Okay, so they without seeing him, look, can anyone not see the similarity to Meatloaf in this picture? And that they both died on the same day. Be interested to see what their partners, spouses look like. Very effeminate in that. But they just showed a picture. Oh, of course, they've got him dressed up as a woman. Why wouldn't... Oh, I'm guessing that's him. Louis Anderson and Zach Galifianakis, Basket Season 4. Yeah, of course, they got the guy dressed up like a woman. Yeah, that's very Meatloaf looking to me. Yeah, we were going to look at his partner. Wife, there we go. Louis Anderson's wife. Looks like he's had more. Surely not. What is that meant to be? That's got to be him, isn't it? Dressed as a woman. It must be. Oh, is Louis Anderson gay? Yeah, it's him. Obviously likes dressing. I guess that's his wife there. As I said, he probably had more than one. I've got to be honest, this person looks so unreal that it's hard to take it serious. Okay, we've got a picture there of a blonde. And who is in this picture with Louis Anderson? Who knows? Perhaps it would be worth finding out her name. High school sweetheart, is that her name? Louis Anderson's spouse, high school sweetheart, former. Well, what does that mean, high school sweetheart? Is that her name? It's actually christened high school sweetheart. Is he married, and did he? It was a mistake, he said, before revealing that he rarely dates anymore. The marriage only lasted 4 weeks. Who was Louis Anderson's wife? So they don't actually mention anyone except high school sweetheart. Whatever. Who knows? How about this guy? Deborah Gillespie. My goodness, is that supposed to be Meatloaf? Wow. He has aged. Really? That's supposed to be the same guy? Him there and him there. I mean, who knows how old these pictures were? Perhaps that was the most recent one of him. Okay, yes, and I'd be curious what any of you guys believe as to the Mandela effect. Did you think this person had already passed? Who knows? Okay. Right. Mudlark is mentioning Adele. Let's... yeah, Maria says, I thought he died ages ago. That is exactly what Brian Staveley says in this one. Louis Anderson dead again, and it brings more failed Mandela effect mockery. So, yeah, Maria, if you're not already familiar with this guy's YouTube channel, you might find it interesting, as might everyone else. I did put it in the link earlier. Mudlight says, was meatloaf something people were given for rations in World War II? I don't know, but it's not something I would eat. Phil Wright says, life is a lemon, Susan. Yeah, what does that actually mean? I have heard the line before, but is lemon a code for something? JT, you're thanking us for the kind words. No problem. Most welcome. Adele. Maria says, I think the whole Adele debacle is a humiliation ritual. Is that where she's crying on stage? Have we noticed actually how much Adele looks different than she used to? You'd think I'd be able to spell a 5-letter name. We are apparently, yeah, she was crying on stage quite recently. I don't know if that's the debacle you're referring to. All I know is I believe she used to be quite obese. Is Adele's music most unreliable diva? Furious American fans say Star has cancelled her twice. Perhaps they couldn't find... Perhaps they didn't think they could pull it off, if you know what I mean. FaceTime disappointed fans. Of course, she got to go on about all her crew coming down ill. It's just talking about that crud. On Thursday, Adele announced the opening of her Las Vegas residency would be delayed. She attributed to issues with BS positive staff and distribution delays. Why are they stupid enough to take a test, for goodness sake? Actually, I did want to mention, I wanted to actually look at the changing face of Adele, and also there's another person. It's an actor, and they just look like a clone. Right, yeah, okay, so bear in mind, this is what Adele supposedly looks like now. Oh. Images. Let's see if we can find any of her from, I don't know. Here we go. Does this even look like the same person? I mean, perhaps it is, I don't know, but they look nothing like each other, do they? I mean, her nose has completely changed. Her forehead, let's see, did she have the same type of forehead? Actually, sorry, I can't zoom in a bit closer. Well, I could, couldn't I? I don't know how well it'll work. Old Adele. What does that mean? Yeah, I would never say... Who knows? Perhaps it is meant to be the same person. Perhaps they've just had some serious plastic surgery. Or perhaps they've just got a different actor. Who knows? But yeah, Maria, I would be curious to know what do you mean by a debacle. Moon Schroeder was hidden by Mudlark. Curious, I'm not... Okay, one of those. Thank you, Mudlark. DJ Carrera, greetings. Good to see you in the live chat. Social credit score system. And we'll have a look at that before we close out tonight. And Maria Elida says, I think she changed into another person. She looks like the new Kelly Osbourne. Yeah, there was someone else. I do not remember. Someone actually on YouTube recommended I think I might be able to remember them if I go to my subscriptions. Let's see. Yeah, I can't remember who they shared a picture of. No, it was a video that they had over on BitChute. I'm actually curious if anyone watching this knows much about BitChute, because I really don't. Is is it worth... I mean, some of the videos on there look pretty good. Who was that? I don't know if it was this guy. I don't think it was this guy, actually. Definitely wasn't. It was a community post. Oh, but he did put a video of Adele crying. I'm not going to replay it, but yeah, I want to see, just because it's the whoever it is that shares the video. Yeah, they say... who was it? Sorry, I'm subscribed to far too many people. I might not even be able to find it. I'm sorry. Maybe it was Zoom Truth, actually. Maybe it was Zoom Truth. Perhaps not. I don't know. Not over a month ago. Okay. I'll have to find it another time, but I can't remember who it was. But they made a point about how much. Well, no, they didn't. Yeah, they covered someone, and I actually thought it was Adele. I was watching it, and then I realised after it wasn't. But unfortunately, I cannot remember who it was, which is a shame. Okay, I'm not going to scroll through all these videos, through these channels now, but yeah, because I'll have to find it for next time. But yeah, someone looks like a clone. Okay, DJ Carrera mentioned the credit score system. We will have a look at that. The cancellation of the concert, the weeping and wailing. Okay, I mean, if you think it's worth watching her crying and stuff, maybe it is a humiliation ritual. But it seems just like an advert to me. But people did make some good points on the video. Where is it? We'll get there. Okay. Was it this one? Maybe not. Here it is, James Ellie. Yeah, people were making some very good points in the comments section of this video. I'll put the subtitles on and we can... Doesn't look very convincing even as a human being. Look at the features. Honestly, look at this big square jaw. And this is meant to be same person, apparently. Same woman. You can see she starts morphing into her. Is that meant to be Adele? Are you kidding me? This and this, same person. Really? Nah. Look at all the, no doubt, satanic symbols she's got all over her. Half my crew and my team are off with Kobe. That's the YouTube translation. I'll go with that. I can't give you what I have right now. I'm gutted. Well, why don't you just do your show online? Just you, a guitar. Yeah, people are making great points about just as well. Oh, there's my one. BS19 is a get out of jail free card. Cancel a show with a moment's notice, just say BS19. Medical negligence, just say BS19. No longer inspecting care homes, just say BS19, etc. And someone here, all she needs is a microphone and a good voice, surely. Yep, get someone to play a guitar. You could either link up a couple of videos, do as I did the other week, a Google Room or Google Meet or whatever they call it, and a few of you play some, just do a live performance. Who cares? Here we go. Shane Walter. Good job they all had their jabs, innit, Adele? Even with everyone, and that's true. I mean, can't argue with that one. Even though, no doubt, everyone taking part in that has had their filth. Okay, right. We were going to look at... okay. Alright, 1 second. Before I go to Facebook, I would just like to hide my screen for a second. Yeah, I never know what's going to pop up on Facebook. Okay, no, that is fine. We can look at that, no problem. Right, this is from DJ Carrera. Look what I found tonight. Boris announced the end of mandates, but slides in a social credit system called Citizen Data System without announcing it publicly. I knew there was something else major going on, and this was a cover-up for something far worse. This was their plan all along. Ooh, wow. Asset publishing service, government uploads. Wouldn't that be typical if evidence and scenarios for global data system, ministerial forward. Okay, this is a heck of a lot of information here. Let's just see if there's any scope or... Right. Varying priorities have therefore contributed to the formation of somewhat divergent data systems. Citizen values may have also played a role. Citizen behaviour does not always match reported values. The incentives to use citizen data to create successful or even dominant business models also shape data systems. Well, if anyone knows if anyone's got the, what do they call it, Cliff Note version, data is increasingly critical. DJ Carrera, this is something I would have to spend some serious, proper time looking at. In addition to long-term trends, recent experience suggests that future data systems are likely to be shaped by unpredictable shocks, and successful data systems will be those that can effectively and swiftly adapt. What is this? Scenarios for global citizen data. We described 4 scenarios illustrating the scope and possible national and global outcomes. A world with low citizen engagement on data privacy and trust issues, a rise in nationalistic data policies, little technology innovations, and disruption of existing business models by regional government interventions. Right. What does the policy recommend? Navigating an uncertain future with appropriate agility is the only possible... Right. So it seems to be something to do with our data, obviously. Okay. Members of the public need to be active and engaged part of the UK's data system. Why? Given the lack of consensus within and between countries on the issues discussed in this report, a reliance on supposed disinterest is unlikely to be sustainable long term. Governments should listen and respond to concerns, but are also willing to lead, educate and persuade. Yeah, I bet they will, because our government know how to persuade. In fact, they don't need to persuade. Do this, and you guys do it. I mean, well, not you, people in general do it. I'm probably as equally swayed by bullshit as the next person. I'm sure we like to think that we couldn't get conned, we couldn't get tricked, but of course we could. We are but human. But as I said, I would have to, I mean, this is only the beginning of it. It is it's certainly something the government want to bring in. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Bitcoin. Well, oh, here we go. Future paths, how citizen data systems may evolve. Geopolitical, social, technology and economic factors which could affect global data systems. Right, do we still have the Facebook page open? Because what happened to that? Yeah, there's so much info here that unless anyone can tell me a specific section or page to look at, I'm going to have to do a bit more research. Actually, let me click that link again. So, this person, G. Gibson, jobs over jabs, fair enough, seems to consider that something else has been quietly, wouldn't that be interesting if they suddenly stopped going on about you know what, only to find that a social credit system called Citizen Data System, without announcing it publicly. We will keep a lookout for that. Thank you for sharing, DJ Carrera. Much appreciated. Okay, Maria Ellender says, I never thought that he was a man, but I can see it now. If you're referring to Adele, well, the old Adele, I mean, I'm not saying it isn't also a man, but looks a lot more real and convincing. But for me, it's the big forehead. I would love to, I'm hoping I remember just who it was that this person, it was an Australian actor, actress, whatever. Megan something, Australian actor. Maybe it was Megan Kelly. Let's see. I might have that name wrong, I'm not sure. No, it wasn't this person. Megan Fox. But yeah, nope, not this person. A seriously strange looking. I'm sure they're Australian though. Perhaps we'll go back to that. I mean, they started really obese. Like, sorry, not really obese. They were a much larger person. And then over the years, they just morphed into something completely different. Australian film stars. Joe, I was going to say earlier, I meant to say, haven't the cats been good tonight? Now I've just got one crawling all over me. That is their way of saying, you better start paying attention to us. Yeah, I can't seem to put my finger on who the other person was, but they were seriously bizarre looking. Right. Megan Fox, obviously a dude. Yeah. I mean, it might well have been Megan Fox, actually. But I'm guessing this person wasn't originally... Why? Oh, Megan, right, gotcha. You can't put the word Megan in without this He-Man. getting a look in. Is Megan Fox not famous enough on her own to... Yeah, you can see Megan Fox is what they are. So who was the other people I looked at? Who was Megan Kelly? Someone's got... Oh, Megan Fox was in a film called Transformers. Right, got it. What a surprise. Actually, while we've got this this person, Serena Williams and Meghan Markle, when you put these two together, you'd think the drag act would come to town, wouldn't you? No disrespect. Charlie's Angels, the remake. I'd never seen it, but I do remember. I know I saw a clip of it, and one of the, I think it was one of them actually looked like Freak Show Markle, particularly in the, yeah, this one. It must be this one. Don't know. She doesn't so much look like her there, but in the image I saw, it was. Oh, maybe it wasn't the 2019 one actually. Didn't they do one back in 2000 by the look of it? There's more than 3 of them, surely. Yeah, when you know what you're looking at, I mean, these people here, how blatant is that there isn't is it disrespectful to say there isn't an ovary between them? And these 3 people, I think, well, I don't know about this one, but these 2, I'm sure they've been considered, or they've gone in magazines, most attractive female or sexiest woman. Ugh, finger down your throat, man. Absolutely vile. Vomit inducing, these people are. Absolutely sickening freak shows. Right. So they cut down on the Charlie's Angels. Hey ho. Yeah, I never watched this Charlie's Angels, to be honest with you. Right. Okay, we are going to start winding down in a minute. Mudlark says they make these documents long and boring so nobody reads it. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. They do put off... I mean, let's have a look at it. What was the actual name? Social credit system, was it? Let's see, we'll do a quick search for it. We will have a quick look just before we wind down. Government Citizen Data System. Let's see, without going to a government link. Citizen Data System. Okay, Kat, I'll let you out. Hang on, just while this... We'll see if there's any short version. The cat's going to start bugging me in a minute if I don't feed her, so we'll just have a very quick look at this 1 second, and then I'm going to have to wind down, well, finish up actually. Right, the amount of data generated by people have been growing. A new paper from the UK Government Office Science explores the future of citizen data and warns that while there are significant benefits, there are also risks. Divergent data, whereby citizen engagement is low. See, it's just the same stuff. I don't actually know what they're talking about. The authors argue that a holistic approach to data will be required when developing a strategy so as to avoid any unintended consequences. This should involve the full appreciation of the complex interaction between business, government, the third sector, whatever that is, and the public. It's an approach that has been underpinned by the UK's National Data Strategy, which was launched alongside the report. The plan not only aims to expand the number of data analysts working across the public sector, but also address some of the barriers. Interesting. Yeah, as I was saying about Bitcoin, why are they so valuable? What information is in a Bitcoin that makes it valuable? You have to ask that, don't you? Right. Okay, I am going to say a huge thank you to Mudlark Digging Up the Thames, Maria Ellender, Michelle from Oz. All Michelle's mentioned about Musk. We'll have a look at that before we finish. I'll just finish saying thank you. Maria, Mudlark, Michelle. You like your M's tonight, don't you? Susan Byrne, Phil Wright, Maria Ellender, already mentioned. I need a better way of doing this. DJ Carrera, Phil Wright, JT33. Let's see. Anyone else? JT33. I know we had random games in the chat earlier. Isa Jones, otherwise known as Kev KG. Have I said Phil right? Hopefully. ZZ came and showed us the situation she finds herself in. Yeah, I want to share, actually, have I got time? Let's see if I can do that now. Just a link to, it's basically a video where, over on BitChute, where a woman is talking about, hang on, let's see if I can find it. Yeah, she's talking about all the laws that are in place to protect people from the government just trying to force this on you. Let's see if I can find it. Advice to... Okay, here we go. Right, bear with me. It'll be coming over now, hopefully. Maybe I'll even dare play a couple of seconds of it before we finish, because yeah, the information from the woman, apparently she's an employment employment lawyer. Come on, send. Right, here it comes. You might hear a buzz in a sec. Yeah, I hope I said thank you to everyone who's taken the time to tune into the live chat. I do appreciate you all taking the time. As I said, in previous weeks last week I did a Google Room, Google Meet, Google whatever it is they call their service. And if anyone wants to take part ever in that, just let me know in the comments or email me on bobbyzones@gmail.com, all lowercase. Or become a patron, and you will get a direct personal message in. Right,